I need a motion to bring the town board meeting of October 10th, 2011 to order.
Second.
Salute the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a moment of silence for the military serving in this country and out of the country around the world. Thank you. Emergency exits are on your left, our right, in the rear of the building. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Raymer? Here. Councilwoman Frody? Here. Councilwoman Henselberger? Councilwoman Doyle? Here. And Supervisor Flood?
Here. Any public comments?
We do. Pat Nalligan?
I got most of it out last night. Pat Nelligan, Lavelle Road. I live in the water district. The only water district in the town of Amenia. We had a great meeting last night. May not think so, because I was sort of my usual self. I won't be my usual self tonight, but I really have a request to the board. And this relates to all committees. People don't know what committees are doing in this town. And then when we find out, we have brouhahas like we had on August 22nd. I've checked the calendar for the last 5 months. You know, I can find out there's chicken barbecue this weekend and there's roast beef next weekend. I can find out there's volunteers for this, there's walks for this, there's the thing over at the schoolhouse for this. Town board meetings, planning board meetings. Zoning board never meets, but they'd be there too. There is no official or even unofficial way in which committees let people know when they're meeting in this town. It's not on the calendar, and it's not on the TV. Now, most, let's say, senior citizens, like me, don't come over to the town hall to look for what might be stuck up on the door for a meeting 2 or 3 days from now, for a committee. I've had the same complaint about the wastewater committee. Is there a way that this board, which gets very vital information from these committees, recommendations from these committees, and even has committees doing things, that people can know when they meet in some other than secret way? That's it. I'm also disappointed that, given that you want a new brand new ordinance in town, and there was a meeting last night to discuss that with the water committee, who brought the ordinance or the idea for the ordinance to you as a recommendation, that only the 2 people who usually show up there were there. It would have been enlightening. And I would even stop talking now and not go through my litany of things that I want to go through if you would change procedure a bit, since it's a workshop. And after the water committee presents, that people have a chance to comment on it or talk about it, because you're thinking about a new law. And then the next meeting is the official meeting. And you already have a resolution on board that most of us don't think works. So I'd request that you allow some people to talk after that, or just have a discussion period, even at the end of the meeting. But that's up to you. You don't have to. Thanks.
I believe, aren't most of the committee, they are posted
Where?
on the website. They should be. But if they're not,
Where?
there's this,
It's a big website.
yeah, I know.
Calendar?
On the planning board minutes, I was able to find the planning board agenda for the next planning board
We're not
meeting.
talking about planning board, we're talking about committees.
Okay. You mentioned-
Specifically water and wastewater.
Well, enhancement committee meeting has a full year meetings in
Enhancement
advance.
does a good job.
Okay.
Did I mention enhancement when I was speaking? No.
No.
All right,
But it's a
what we could
committee.
do
Water and
It's a
wastewater.
committee.
Wastewater hasn't met
They haven't met.
a long time,
I know.
yeah. But there's
But
nothing.
when you were meeting,
Oh.
we had issues.
All right, we'll just double check and we'll make sure everything goes on.
I just appreciate.
I think
the
most of it's
young
on there, but we'll just have to figure out that we get it to the public. And we'll do it on channel 22.
I put it out there.
It's out there.
It's on the Channel 22 slide portion on the site.
Why didn't you hear it tonight?
It's
Most people did not know what was going on with the new law, is why I brought it up. And then you get slam banged on the night you're doing your resolution by crazies like Sharon and me.
Well, I think that new law is not being adopted anyway. This
I know
one.
that, I'm just saying that we wouldn't
There's
have
issues,
gone-
there's
we
issues,
wouldn't
there's been
have gone
issues with it,
through
that's
all
why,
of that.
that's why it's been in limbo here for a year.
There were 3 of us at that meeting last night.
I didn't see you.
I was there.
She was behind me. She was behind me.
So,
Sorry, I was still too full. I was really in my
Tunnel vision?
attack mode.
oh, okay. So I thought the comments were very good.
I thought it was good.
Yes, so, yeah.
Oh, Sharon, something good.
Okay?
Thanks, good.
Tom Warner?
Tom Warren, did you say that?
Yes.
Go right ahead. I'll be done because I have to go to that other meeting. This is a memo to the Amenia Town Board from Sharon Kroger, trying to be helpful. It deals with the question of the possible water bill legislation and the question of the check valves. It is entirely possible that, after the hearing which was held last night, there has been sufficient communication on this issue and the matter can be solved merely with an amendment to the plumbing section of the building code, which clarifies the role of the building inspector. If the town lawyer believes this can be the case and can draft you such an amendment that solves the problem, then that may take care of it. And if, however, you believe that the town really requires a water law, then there are certain issues that should be addressed in such a law and certain precautions taken to avoid merely utilizing drafted language which is not adequately modified to deal with Amenia, which has multiple natural water supplies that are not being managed by the town, even though they are located within the town, as well as inadequate protection for property owners. And we're concerned with that protection issue. Norm Benson had said that there needed even to be an appeals process built in if you went that route. Such a draft at least should include, it should develop a more precise definitions than in that initial draft. It should clarify public accountability better. It should make sure the town is not being expected to do things that are not possible. It should separate the maintenance responsibilities of the water in the water system from capital expenditures, so that the major investment is subject to public bidding and inspections should be done by appropriate authorities other than those who do the work. It wasn't clear that that was all separated adequately in that legislation. It should also clarify the existence and the role of the appointed water board. You have an important water board, but I don't see it written into anything adequately to protect its role and to enable it to do what it needs to do, including perhaps some financial accountability in regard to the running of the system. Number 6, state the responsibilities of residents whose water system may need to be inspected and or improved, along with procedures that protect both the homeowners as well as guaranteed necessary access to the water company staff. 7, clarify the necessary credentials such staff must possess, as well as a process for hiring and renewing the annual contract for such staff. If you decide on this latter option that you really want a full water bill, then at very least I shall provide a new draft which attempts to address these necessary issues before your next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
I lost my pen, but I can't find it. My pen is here somewhere. Oh, wait a minute, you get one of these too. Is anybody received my blue pen with my farm name on it.
It should be up there.
It isn't, it's another one.
Tom, did you want to still go?
Tom Warner, Amenia. I'd like to change the subject a little bit. We are in the process, or you are in the process of the new budget, and I wish that you would take into consideration the fact that there's been a reduction in the value of all property to the rate of 4.5% by the county, which means that your budget is going to have to increase because you got a decrease there. And you're still regulated at 1.66 as the cap, not 2%. There are exceptions, but I wish you would consider the fact that everybody's going to have to pay more. You're going to have to proportionately pay more because of the reduction in the value of your property. But your budget doesn't reflect that. And it's something that you should consider. Thank you.
Frankie?
Ellen O'Connell, Amenia. I'm looking at the preliminary budget for recreation, and I would like to ask the board to review the senior picnic. We had 150 residents attend that. We had 35 takeouts. You know, that's the biggest participation for the seniors for the whole year. Besides the senior trip, that's the only two things we do, and the seniors really look forward to that. The bus trip, we only get 20 to 30 at the most to go on that because it's difficult for some of them to get out and to get on the bus. So I'm asking you to really put that back in. We have some money left over from the rec director line, which we never filled last year. We have 1,026 left over in the total of the baseball lines that we haven't been able to use. We have 4,000 left over in the senior trip line. We only have one more scheduled for the Christmas dinner. So I'm asking that you please put that senior picnic back in. It's the only big participation the seniors have in this town. I'd just like to point out the dance program is now opening up to other students out of town, which I'm fine with, but we pay for that. It's free. And so if we're going to take other students or other children from other towns and pay for them, and we're not going to pay for our own seniors for their picnic. Another issue I have is we really need a second person in maintenance in the Amenia Park. We always had 2 people there until this last year when Joel resigned. We never got to refill that position. But now we have the town hall, and we're putting in a grant for a playground. So we're going to have maintenance down there. We had glass all over the grass this summer, and thankfully John helped clean it up, but that would take Joel or Sean away from Beekman Park if he had to come down and do that. So now we have the town hall, we have Wassaic, and we have Beekman Park. We really need that third person in the summer. It's about $3,000 for, we want them for 3 days a week, starting in March through the end of August. It's 4 hours at $12 an hour. I'm asking you to please look at that again. Thank you.
That's it.
No, Kevin.
Hello, Kevin Cassone, Amenia. I also was at that water meeting, so just quickly, I think the what some of the questioners worked out from people was that we're required to have a program, not a law. When Marco read it verbatim from what the Department of Health was asking us is, we need a program to do it, and we're talking about 8 or 12 businesses total. So I just don't think we need a law that's going to be about a page per compliant under the new rule. I don't see any reason for a law whatsoever. We can have a program. Let's see if people comply. Where are we going to assume people aren't first? And if they don't, we pick up the phone and we call the Board of Health. Problem solved. Once we start writing a law like this, it's going to take management and maintenance. We're going to make sure it stays up to date. Every time the state changes the law of the county, we're going to have to change our law. More legal fees. I just don't. It's just the whole ball of wax. We just don't have to go down this road at all. Somebody else is already paying for it. Our taxes are already paying for it through our county government. That's with the water district. Done. Now, I wanted to talk about 3 board members who I think, especially one who's going to be leaving soon, and I've noticed after the elections, viewership on these meetings goes down, or at least I think it might. It seems logical. Holidays are coming out. Who donate their services. So I'm going to do this to Hebrew. I'll start from right to left. Darlene Reamer has helped out this town so much with her free architectural services. And she's going to be leaving office at the end of the year. She's too modest to try to put a dollar figure on it. I've been trying to wheedle that out of her, and she won't say. I'm guessing it's tens of thousands. I don't know if it's I'd say a bottom would have to be around 30K, and who knows how high it goes up. And we wouldn't have this building were it not for that. On the other end, both politically and physically at the table, there's Vicki Doyle, who's been donating every year. Maybe a little easier to quantify if we were to hire somebody to do a cleanup day, a planting day, the spring and the fall, and all the other things. And for 10 years, I think you'd easily get up to that bottom number too. 10 years, it was just $3,000 a year, and it's pure volunteer. This isn't a council person making a decision that I will buy this product or this service or that service, and since I made the better choice, I saved the town money. They're saving the town money, but they're volunteering their own time and effort, which is, to me, more than you need to do. And these are big ticket items. Victoria shows, actually, so I want to talk about everybody. Victoria, so forget that count, is at every volunteer event we have. With the great schoolhouse picnic we just had. So everybody really pitches in. If it wasn't for all this volunteer work, things just, wouldn't happen. And then I want to talk about the council person I care the most about, Gretchen Hitzelberger. And I don't think people realize how much money she has saved this town in just 6 months. The IT audit, I think if I remember, and you can check it out on YouTube, when we had the person from Dover standing right here, her estimate was, I think we were talking about $30,000. And that was just initially, and that was for her. She was going to hire subcontractors. And I think she was also making a tactical mistake. She was thinking the way we answer the audit was to upgrade our equipment, which could get very expensive, very fast. What Gretchen knew was you don't answer an audit by upgrading, because then once you commit to the state you're going to do it, then they're on you all the time saying, well, did you buy that new equipment yet? Did you buy that new equipment yet? They want to see that. But you answer an audit with words. They hit you with a document with words, and you work out plans, or you answer with words, and you say, this is how we're going to solve that problem. From goofy little things like her announcements, which get some derision in some ports, but they were mandated by the state, to actually doing all of this IT review that only somebody with decades of experience in this field could do. I would say minimum, that first contract was going to be $30K. She was going to hire that Women from Dover was going to hire subcontractors. I think we're looking at about $60K conservatively. If we're going to go high end, it could go even higher. That's $60,000 in 6 months. That's I think that's a record. So I think people in town who are watching this might not be aware of that, and it's been a lot of work. I can attest to that. It's hours of work every evening. One other thing about saving money. You were talking about, she was able to do a grant for the sidewalk from here to Freshtown. There is a free sidewalk estimator on the state site. And she didn't keep it to herself. She told all of you that, so you could all use it too. And then at the meeting following that, you guys started talking about, well, if we're going to redo the sidewalk from the light to Beacon Field, which I think is a great idea. We should go for the grant, Victoria. You did a good job in pushing that forward. But we don't need to hire anybody. No engineer, no consultant. There is a free state sidewalk estimating tool on their website. Absolutely free. You punch the numbers in, you spend 3-4 hours, and you have a grant. And they're not, no insult to Michael, I don't think they're all that hard to write, these grants. They're hard to manage. That's where all the work comes in. But once you do one, it's almost boilerplate for the next. It's you guys have to think about whatever team we're going to have after January, about writing these grants yourself. Once you do it, and then it's not yours. Leave it with the town. And the next, and leave instructions, and then the next council person can do it. And we can start doing a lot of this stuff. The grants are just a broad outline, the initial documents, like a wish list. And if there's a state sidewalk estimator, I'm wondering how many, I haven't searched for it, I'm wondering how many other free estimators there are on the state site. I mean, we're paying for this stuff with our state taxes. Let's use it. Anyway, that's all, and it just saved money. And all those who volunteer, it's great. And Bill, I didn't mean to leave you out. I just couldn't think of anything. You're out all the volunteer things. Sorry if I left you out. William J. Flood.
I saved a lot of money, though.
Yeah,
I saved a lot of money for the town.
Trying to be inclusive.
I'd like to make one last comment, and I won't ask to say it in the rest of the meeting.
You have to go to the
I'm
the
asking
microphone.
if I can again.
Yes, go ahead.
Wow.
Go for it.
I didn't even ask.
Oh, wait. Vicky, wait. And Vicky, you and I should write this date down. He congratulated us. I think, really, write it down.
Whoa.
He said, the enhancement committee does a great job.
They do,
Can I get that in writing?
in terms of letting people know when you're meeting.
We'll give it in a minute.
In terms of letting people know when you're meeting. Sharon made the comment about a water board. Now, we know what waterboarding is all about, but that's not what she meant. There is confusion as to who is responsible for the Town of Amenia Water District number 1, or 2 or 3 or 4 if there ever were, but there probably never will be. We have one public water system. It's for the hamlet of Amenia, 300 people, whatever. The town board of the Town of Amenia could have a water commission appointed separately, but you don't. So the town board of the Town of Amenia is the water commission. Is that correct?
Well, we oversee it, correct.
No, you're the water commission. You don't oversee it. You are the
All
commission.
right, that's fine.
Well, I don't think it's in everybody's head. We're talking about the water system. We got a water system operator. We have a water committee, not a water board.
Correct.
That is an appointed committee that advises only, although I think it does more than advise sometimes. But it's not a water board, and it's not the water commission. You are the commission. You are responsible for all decisions about the water district. So, November 8th, 2011, the Water Committee had a meeting, and the Health Department was sent the cross-contamination schedule. They've been asking for a cross-contamination program, correct? It's in the minutes from the water. Okay. Getting to the one that really matters. On May 8th, their first meeting this year, when this stuff started to really happen, approximately 10 commercial owners are in the process of complying with the cross-contamination control backflow prevention program. I thought it didn't exist. I thought we had to do something to make it exist. How are they being cross-contamination control backflow prevention program? Where is it? How did it get instituted? And why is the health department saying we need a law if we have a cross-contamination program? This is really what goes on when nobody's paying attention. That's it. we don't need to do a thing, as
Required
Kevin
by-
says.
It's required by the health department.
I know that, and it's in here that we have it, and we're making 10 people, including you, comply with it. I don't think you should, because I think it's excessive. You're not a hazard, Bill.
Thanks, Pat.
Pleasure.
Water department.
Well, as you all know, we had our water committee meeting yesterday. And I want to thank the members of the board that came. And I want to go over what we're interested in at this phase of the game. This is a mandate. It's not our idea. It's the health department has mandated this cross-contamination program. Most of the people have complied already. And at this point, we're interested in the penalty phase. What if these people, because every year it has to be inspected again. And what happens if these people don't comply? How are we going to make them comply? So it's up to the town board at this point to have a law or a penalty phase. And if it's a local law, the penalties, the money will come to the town. But if we leave it with the state under the plumbing law, the New York State plumbing law, it will go to the state, the money. And we don't want that to happen. So it's really up to the town board to make that decision, how you want the penalty phase. Because we have already put in the program. And Marco has been working on that. And most of the people have complied. There's just a few outstanding. And if you want me to go over what the program entails, okay. Now, the cross-contamination prevention program is just for the people in the water district. It's not for people who own private wells. It's just for district number one. And the people who own private homes, like myself, my neighbors, that don't have sprinkler systems are not included in this. So they don't have to worry about it. They're just going after those dwellings that are possible, hazardous, that might cause contamination. The reason that the sprinkler system is put in this is because the water in the system is stagnant, and if it backflows, it can go into the main system, and there might be contamination. So I just want to read this part here. A backflow assembly is required wherever there is a possibility of a cross-contamination between the public water system and a non-potable water source. Examples include, but are not limited to sprinklers, irrigation systems, drainage systems, fire protection, and water-using equipment. Also included are establishments to be used as service stations, gas stations, hair salons, auto body repair shops, furniture repair, manufacturing, cafes and restaurants, or if there is a hazard that has been identified by the town water operator. Now, he's the one who's in charge, and he makes the determination. And then there's steps how it's implemented. And so that we've done. We've established and we've done. So we've done our part. So now it's up to the town board to do their part. And that would be the penalty phase. So we were talking yesterday about the plumbing section of the New York State plumbing code. And if that is enforced, the violator is going to have to pay $1,000 per day. And I don't think we want that. And that money is going to go to the state. We want a local law so we can use the code, that the penalties that we have for the town, and they can be enforced. And this way it's not going to be as much, and the money will come to the town. So it's up to you all what you want to do. So it's in your hands now.
Thank you.
Have any
Thank you for your
questions?
hard
or-
work on this.
Did you discuss anything about the water rates at all?
No, we haven't discussed water rates. We'd like to before the end of the year, so if we're going to raise the rate, it can be implemented
You're gonna have to raise the rates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
January 1st. Okay.
Okay.
Just to follow up.
Yeah.
Just to follow up on what May just presented is accurate. And the reason why we would like to start to get a law on the books for the water district. And again, there could be others. I mean, one of the things that came out yesterday was, why do we have to have one section for one law? There's many things that we could put in there, and we should put in there. And we've discussed this before. Obviously, if we enforce this building code law, which Pat brought up to us yesterday, which is very good. Well, you brought it up also.
Oh, he brought it up.
Okay, well, thank you then for bringing it up, Ian. We'd have to use that section of the code to enforce the law through the state with that $1,000 per day penalty, which we would miss a huge opportunity on. We don't, again, we want to keep the monies in the town with the town. The federal and state governments get our money. Let's try to prevent tax raising here and rate raising when possible, and try to keep, if there is penalty, to keep it here. The building code also directly references the public health document, the 5.31 or .1 or whatever it is. Yeah, it definitely references that. There is a section in the plumbing code that says it is to reference this for cross-contamination programs on any plumbing situations. So it's there. It's already been there. It's a state law. Huge miss for us. We can enforce it either way. Fenton would be the one enforcing it. The monies would stay in the town. If Fenton enforces it through the state code, there goes the money. It will be enforced one way or the other.
I think you had sample from other towns
Exactly.
of how they enforce this.
Yeah,
So I think that might be helpful for the board to see how other towns are enforcing.
Most towns break that section out. And if you talk to your building inspectors, they usually don't want to cross paths with the water operations part or the wastewater operations part, because those guys are licensed in that field and that's their specialty. So they communicate all together and work together. Now the code enforcement officer would be John Fenton, and he would be the person enforcing this. Whichever way it went, he's the enforcer. It just depends which code you want to enforce it under, the state or town law. It's going to be enforced one way or the other, which way to enforce it.
Who was the gentleman who's sitting over there and just said that he would be fining the town residents if we did not
That is
have-
our health inspector.
That's
And not
the
town,
town
not the
or
residents, not the residents. He's not
The
fining.
town.
He's fining the town, which would be the town board, which would be the owner of the water system, which would be the town board, the supervisor and such. We have been out of compliance, obviously, for 20-some years. It hasn't been, this item hasn't been pushed from the health department, and it hasn't made any head, we haven't said anything about it until 2011 when we had our last sanitary inspection. We just had our sanitary inspection again last week. We're not in compliance. The program that I put in place for him, okay, is to try to help us, is I'm using the New York State law.
'cause that's
And
what
my
you do.
compliance paperwork is as simple as it can be. It's a list of addresses, device types, when the inspections are due, when the inspections weren't done last, and when they're due again. That keeps us in compliance. Now, we do have people that are not in compliance, that are out of inspection, and we have people that have not installed the devices or installed them correctly. Most of the people who've contacted me, I've worked with them, and they've had no problems. The plumbers that have contacted me, I don't do the inspection, I don't do the installation. The inspection is done by a New York State certified inspector, and that's done annually. Now, they can pay him directly, they can do it in a group effort to save money. There's a lot of different ways to do this. Town Hall is out of compliance right now.
The town of Amenia is.
Town of Amenia is out of compliance right
So
now.
we need to install one
It's installed.
ourselves.
It hasn't been inspected.
I see.
I have been keeping up with the inspections every year for the town. Okay. Like I said, I have a simple spreadsheet. I've notified John Fenton to have the inspection done. I haven't heard back yet. Not saying it's his fault, but it's,
We're out of
you know,
compliance.
I can't inspect it. I'm not an inspector. Okay. All I can tell you is.
In this case,
Mhm.
with the town hall being out of compliance, our
Can they fine you?
health department could come in and fine us for
They
not.
can fine you. We can shut your water off right now.
Well, I think we have to.
And again,
Well, I
that's.
think part of the problem is, from what I was told yesterday and today from people, is that the water company is trying to balance some of their money with the fines. And I don't think that's the way that they should be going. Most people are compliant because the health department requires it. Some of the buildings that were remodeled here it was never done
Yeah.
when the building permits were issued.
Right.
So that's part of the issue we have. They were never inspected properly. I don't think we should be in the point where we have to, I understand that we have to have the inspections and they're done and they're not done, that we have some kind of a law that will make sure that people are compliant. And that, John, I'm sure we can come up with something that's gonna make that work. But I think the work hasn't been done in the past to make us compliant. And obviously, the valve in the town hall, if we're gonna put a new heating system in, when they do the new heating system in, that's when we will make it compliant.
You already
Right.
have
We
the
have,
device.
but just to be inspected. VRI is inspected in the past, I think.
No, VR is not inspected in the past.
Well, we can call them in the morning, they can be inspected. It can be inspected. So that's not a big
I
deal.
think
That's who
we should go
inspected
ahead
mine,
and
right.
get it inspected. I mean, why would we
Sure.
be imposing this on
They're a local
commercial
company out of
businesses
Millbrook
before
that
we
does a
ourselves
lot of the
haven't
inspections.
done
They're
our
doing the
own?
installs here.
Yeah, we need to do it.
So I think it's, obviously we need a law that's gotta be done, but,
So the fine currently as proposed is $100.
The fines would be the same exact fines in chapter 63.
Chapter 63 of the town code
Would you use the same town fines?
gives no, it's in your town code.
Oh.
It gives your building inspector the ability to enforce the state building code, fire code. It does not currently include the plumbing code, so you probably should amend that. That's something I've talked to John Fenton about, amending.
another thing is, part of the problem we have is the water lines, you can really, I installed a sprinkler system. It may work, it may not. It costs $15,000. I got two of those valves.
Mhm.
Your water lines aren't big enough to handle what's being put on them. So at this point, I understand you're trying to do the inspections, but there's a lot of other stuff that has to be done also here that we're not even taking a look at.
Oh,
The water lines are being replaced, they're not right, they're wrong. And some of these buildings that are being remodeled are not being done properly.
You're right.
So I think we need to take a look at the whole thing, the whole picture of what we're doing, not just the valves. The committee has to do a lot more work, or the town board has to do a lot more work with this water district. It's right.
That's
Right.
building and zoning. who's got it.
No.
That's our water.
The water company's lines are insufficient in a lot of areas. We don't have a fire protection district. It's not fire rated water company.
Is that required by law?
No.
No.
Okay,
No.
so we need to focus on the things that are required by law.
Right.
So
Which is the valve.
Right. Yeah, the other stuff that Bill's talking about is true, but those are upgrades to the system that you would like to do for capital improvements, not mandated. We meet all requirements by the Department of Health to deliver an adequate water supply with our water quality, meeting pressure requirements, volume requirements, and sanitary. Okay? We have, like I've stated before, excellent quality of water. We have never had a violation on any of the water quality that we have. We have no pressure problems. We don't have any volume problems. Now, we'd never had a fire-rated system. When the system was designed, when they put the pressure tank, there could have been other solutions that we could have done a little bit better. Obviously, a higher pressure tank or a booster pump in the pump house. Those are things for future growth, absolutely. But those are not violations currently.
Did someone get in the pump house?
What was that?
Did someone get into the pump house?
I can't hear you.
Did someone unlock the door up there?
At the pump house.
Unlock the door at the pump
Or
house.
get in there?
I'm not going to discuss that matter. Not now.
Why?
Security reason.
Well, it's not secure.
And we need better security. So
There's some issues.
Marco, I just have a quick question for
Sure.
you now. When these meters were put on the residences, why couldn't that backflow? I mean, the meter goes in one direction, you're measuring the volume going in. Wouldn't there be a device on there that if the water were coming back, that it would shut it down?
good question. That's not a true safety measure, but you're absolutely correct. When meters get put in, they're usually put into a fixture that has a check valve in it to stop that. Most municipalities have done that. When this system was, or when these meters were put in, I somehow was never bid that way to put those in. But that still would not meet the requirements for cross-contamination for a hazardous or a potential contaminated situation. For most residents, that would satisfy the requirement. But for businesses, it would not.
Why do businesses have more than a 2-inch line?
It doesn't go by the size of the line, but it's 2-inch line. Where are you going with that? 2-inch line means nothing on this cross-contamination program.
Well,
Size of the
isn't
line
that
doesn't
what the
matter.
meters have?
Hmm?
The meters, the water line coming into a residence, is it 2 inches?
No, it's usually 3/4 inch, 1 inch. We've seen 1/2 inch out there. Yeah. The businesses, even most of the businesses are gonna, I'll be honest with you, have 1 inch. There's some that have 1.5 inches, 2 inch, but very few. So when the
So if
system,
someone were to put in a sprinkler system,
it'd have to be totally engineered, and it's a separate line coming in. It's
right, that
not
would be a
tied in.
larger line coming in.
Yeah,
So
bill
if
went
someone
through
were
that.
to do that, then that would be the time for this.
For that particular thing, they have to put it in. They won't even be able to install it without it.
Right, but then there's,
Because once it hits 2-inch line, it has to be approved by the health department. Anything under 2 inch, I can approve. Once it hits 2 inch, it has to be 1, engineered PE stamped, and 2, has to be approved by the health department. They will make sure there's an RPZ on it. It won't go
yeah, I
any
think this,
forward.
it's a complicated situation.
It's,
By the way, this list of people who are in violation, I've never seen one. You've never given one to the board.
Well, if the board didn't approve it, it shouldn't have happened.
That's a mandate that.
so,
They're the water commission.
And you're out of order.
Of course, I'm always out of order.
Good, you can leave.
so the state,
Yeah, that list. You had a list
I
last
do
night.
have a list of, you can more than welcome have it, absolutely.
Well, I'm just curious why these people are on a list. Why haven't they complied?
Why they haven't complied?
Voluntarily. I mean, they would want to be responsible citizens.
Absolutely. Like I said, I could enforce the law right now without.
Yeah, but it's not being enforced. We've been going around this in
this
circles for a
Yeah.
year. It's not being enforced, Marco. It's not being.
I don't want to
The
enforce it.
people,
right now.
well, even when they do the building department, when they do it, they're not being, there's buildings here that were remodeled that were never done.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, but you've known that. So's
I'm not in communication with, no, I'm not communication, Bill, with the building department on new structures going up, okay?
Not new, it's old ones.
Or old structures going up. You were very communicative with me when you were doing yours, okay, directly.
Well, listen,
So was
I think we're
Houlihan.
just going in circles tonight, but I think at this point, obviously, we need to do something. There are a lot of issues with the water district that have to be dealt with, besides the RPZs. You know, you have a security issue that someone shut the pumps off, from what I understand. that was never told to the board.
Mhm.
That's a serious issue. So that's something that we should have known about. You know, it's been sort
The
of floating
proper,
around.
the proper authorities were notified,
Oh.
and the board was, let's put it this way, individuals on the board were notified.
Not the board.
So, serious
Right.
concerns with it,
There are serious concerns.
yeah.
I
Somebody-
think some of this lack of communication, just from my own, oblique, perception, is that Marco used to come to town board meetings. He used to give his report, and we all stayed up to speed with what was going on, the failure of some of the water meters. We knew about what was going on, and then and at no charge to the taxpayers. He was doing it under a contract, under no obligation. Then we decided, I guess as a board, that he wasn't to come to board meetings anymore.
That
This
wasn't
is-
decided as a board.
Okay, I don't recall making that decision, but I
No,
think
me
he
either.
has very important information, and he's controlling an awful lot of important, the health, water, safety, fire, those kind of needs need to be brought to the attention of the town board on a regular basis. Victoria and I'm not even in the water district. I don't know who else is on the water committee. But you're right, very few of us are attending those meetings, and it's a very important issue, and we don't have anybody but May volunteering to write up some handwritten notes. And we are missing an important link, which is our professional operator coming and giving us his technical information.
Excuse me, she needs to go up.
All right, stop,
Can
please.
you come to the podium
No,
if
no.
you have something to say?
Since this security issue has come to light, I think we need to address it. The doors at the pump house have glass panes in it. I think the doors need to be replaced with perhaps steel doors and the locks changed. And we
Well, did they break it? They didn't break it, they just unlocked the door, from what I understand.
Mhm.
Nothing was broken.
no, but I'm saying that
So how
the
would you get
locks,
this
if
information?
someone,
What's
if
that?
someone
How did
used,
you get the information?
It's around town.
gotten it from you.
Okay. Is there
what,
somebody-
the point is that we should make the, we
Well, it
should
should've
make
been-
the
it should've
pump
been
house more secure
Mhm.
by getting, steel doors, doors that do not have glass panes in them, and,
There's an
and
alarm.
change the
Secure.
locks, and
Should be
also,
If they're not?
Isn't there an alarm system on that building?
No.
No, there's not?
Nope.
and get security. Because after 9/11, one of the things Homeland Security focused on is for towns and villages to protect their water supply. And I think we need to do more to protect ours.
Mhm.
So if you could get estimates for 2 doors,
Sure. I said, I'm not going to discuss the security breach in public, and there's a reason for that.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Thank you.
Please add one thing to that, please. Respectfully.
Sure.
As a suggestion, yeah, okay. May did work very hard on all this work, and I didn't say that before, and I wanted to apologize for that. You're welcome. Here's the problem with the finding structure. It's sort of like, a bureaucratic empire building. Now, here comes our first fines in the water district. Now we've crossed a barrier. Then the next one's going to come. Mike DeLango stood up at the water meeting yesterday and said, I've gotten zero direction. He wants to put it in. He's waiting to put it in. He's willing to put it in. But no one will tell him what he's got to put in. He wants to write the check tomorrow. And then Marco says, well, you have to get an inspector and you have to hire somebody else. Why can't he give citizens guidance? Come up with a fact sheet. Print some documents. If he knows all this stuff, why all this effort putting into finding us when people would do it, but they're not getting any positive input from the town? Nobody's coming to them and saying, well, okay, you'll have to have your own plumber, but I mean, why does everybody have to hire their own inspector to figure out how this is done? Come on, you have a business, you have a sink. It could probably be broken down into 8, 10 categories. What Gretchen was talking about the other day, New York City had the flow chart. If you do this, then that. That was our objection with the law. It was all about legalities. The word superintendent was used. I really don't know where that's going. The reason, here's the circuitous thinking. Do you have a hazard? Well, you have a hazard if you don't have the hazard protection valve. It was a circuitous logic. If you don't have the valve, that's the hazard. But forgetting that, we had a citizen right here, an example. He wants to do it, but he's not getting any guidance, any help. Nobody's telling him what we want you to do. If we're going to use force through fines to tell somebody to do something, well, you should darn well tell the people what they have to do to comply. Now, I'm not going to doubt his word. Everybody heard him. He was sitting right here, and he said, I keep trying to do this. He doesn't know, does he need to hire an outside inspector? I mean, why should every citizen, I mean, there are about 12 people on that list, all the businesses and restaurants in town, Darlene. Why can't there be a document? Why can't we at least make a suggestion? If Marco can't do it legally and it must be another inspector, then fine, but he can at least come up with, these are guidelines, this is roughly it. So all this effort on fining, how about some effort on helping and guiding people who are dying to put these things in, but they don't know what to do. He's an automotive garage. I don't know if there's extra technical stuff with him. And Marco's champing at the bit to come up here, and he's a nice gentleman too. This isn't personal, Marco, okay? It isn't, not at all. You're very knowledgeable. But if we're going to put this whole thing into place, I don't know. Why isn't there a system to help people? Why isn't this written down? Anyway, I'm repeating myself now. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just really quick, anybody who has asked me, I put together a literature for him. Mike DeLango has called me. I'm waiting for his plumber to call back. I gave him everything he needed, and I'm still waiting for his plumber to contact me. But anybody who needs the information, it's easily referenced Department of Health. I can point him in the right direction. I can print it out for him and give it to him. So try to make it as painless as possible.
Building Department, letter from John Fenton. Please find September's monthly report for Building Department's building permits go. We've issued 16 building permits, which totals $856. We're continuing with certificate of occupancy searches, and for this month we did 9 searches, which totals $725. As for fire inspections this month, we did 2 inspections, which totals to $400. The total for the month is $1,981. There's also a letter from, I guess we'll do that later. The Highway Department, no one here. Main Street grant, you'll see people working downtown. The landscapers are here working. The planters have arrived. They're in the back of the building. The benches are here. I believe benches are here, right? I think they are. The benches are here.
Yeah,
They're in the gym.
They're in the gym.
Yep. Beautiful.
So they're doing the pads now, the concrete pads with the brick. The pads where the benches will be installed and the flower pots will be installed. So in you can notice also on the streets, they've marked with green paint where they're going to plant the new shrubs and trees. That's all being done now. Hopefully in the next week or so, we should have all the stuff done. It was given to, I think it was Amodio Lance, is it Amodio? Amadello. Landscaping is doing all the plantings and the setting of the benches and so on and so forth, so they're doing a great job.
Yeah, his notice that the trees are coming tomorrow.
Yep, and
So
also you'll notice that the post office building is being painted. That's part of the grant. Also, the Patel's building where the new deli is, that will be receiving a new facade. Also, I think, Mike, we're all set with that one. They finally signed the contracts, I believe, right?
Yeah.
It's done?
Claim.
The claim sent in? So
Yeah.
you want to...
I'll do a quick update. I wrote up a special update on the Main Street grant as Vicki had requested up here, so I'll hand that out. It has a little bit more detail about each of the projects. So the building renovations are underway. That part of the grant is $160,000. I've been working with Mr. Patel particularly very closely. We had to work on that claim. He wanted to get as much as he could of the expenses that he's already done reimbursed. And really, in the end, we only were able to submit a claim for $46,000, but that still will help him greatly finance Phase 2, which is really the facade and the interior improvements. I've been working with Aaron Kinney also, finalizing the environmental checklist and all the language in that, getting the project set up for him, finalized, and getting this claim paid out to the town as soon as possible. I'm also working on Claire's claim to get her some money up front. The project is underway. Her grant agreement was signed. All the grant agreements have been signed, and SHPO approval has been obtained. The library project is underway. And as you mentioned, streetscape has started. We're going to be adjusting that budget upwards slightly to include the library sign. And grant administration, I'm going to prepare a claim for that $4,000 expenses that we've incurred so far.
So for the public to know, so far the Patels will receive $108,750. Claire Houlihan will receive $41,250 for painting the building. The library will receive approximately $10,000. It's $1,800 for storm windows, $3,337 for signs, and $5,105 for landscape lighting. Streetscape was budgeted $25,000. The bids came in at $18,350 for the trees, and the work that had to be done. Grant administration is $10,000, which Mike has taken some, or in the process of taking some. So the grand total of $195,000 will be spent on downtown Amenia on some of these buildings. So that's what we've done. It's been a great project, or will be. So that's what people see what's going on down there. That's where we're spending this money. Took us a while, but we got it straightened around.
And we still have the deadline of December 9th.
Right, December 9th, we have to be done.
And I'm doing the signs.
Right.
We're required to have the signs for the windows.
Thank you for
So,
that.
yep.
That's great, because it's a big savings for the town. So, I don't know if you had any other questions about grants. I did also submit a claim to the Department of Transportation. They have some questions. We may have already achieved the most we can get under the TEP grant for design. We could adjust the budget, but that would mean there'd be less money for construction. We may want to, we're going to have a discussion with the Department of Transportation and maybe with WSP Cells to see where that project stands and how much this is going to cost for design, because we'll have to start tapping into the Dormitory Authority grant and coordinate all the grants really with the DOT. And I spoke to Carolyn Ryan because some can be used as a match. Some can also, design can be included, like with the Dormitory Authority grant. So the town has already spent about $80,000 on design, and that's just preliminary. There's still final design, which the final design report has been submitted. I did bring that to the Department of Transportation, so they're looking at it now.
And that's the last hurdle.
Yeah, it really is. That's a major. Once we get that and have the path delineated and the right-of-ways, I'm going to send that. I'll reach out to the Dormitory Authority to see if we can get a contract or what we have to do to, move that forward.
What is the cap for design fees for this project?
$95,000 was what the agreement is. We had an agreement with Cells.
But the state will only reimburse us a certain percentage of the project cost?
Well, the grant that we applied for was $480,000, and of that, $52,000 initially was for design. So that was what the state was basing our claims on. The town was paid $41,000 from the TEP grant, which is 80% of the 52, and $10,000 from the Greenway. So really, you've been reimbursed $62,000 of that $80,000 so far, and a lot of it still will be reimbursable. We're just going to have to get a contract with the Dormitory Authority, or maybe use the CDBG funds, because that is in a way is a different project.
Is it possible to do the CDBG if it's for handicapped accessibility? Is it possible to include design fees from incurred
We
costs?
received the grant.
Yes.
We have the grant. It's possible, yes. We'd have to talk to Cells. That's why it would be good for us to talk to the DOT, get some background information to, have a united front when we speak to Cells, because there are. In looking over the invoices and stuff, the state even had some questions about the invoices and how much we're spending now, and, you know, this is preliminary phase, so we should definitely,
But we
once
did
they,
talk to the DOT, all of us sitting around the
Yes.
table about these design fees, and they convinced us WSP Cells was a very competitive bid for that cost. So it's
Yeah.
not like they're surprised.
I
It's
know, that's a
just
good
that-
point, yeah, so.
Well, I think that the design is done, correct?
I think so too,
Yeah,
yeah, I was
it's done.
looking at it,
We
there was a
have to pay.
final
Yeah, they're
report.
looking at
They
it.
We
tried
have
to
to
do
get
two at
reimbursed.
once, I think, really, and maybe the state doesn't quite understand that. WSP Cells, in trying to save money, did a lot of the work up front, I think, that is needed for the final design report. The DOT didn't even see, they just got the final design report, which was submitted in July, I guess, around July, so anyway, they're reviewing it now. And.
Where are we with the new CDB?
CDBG
Oh,
grant.
that's, did you want to, I don't, we had a
Do
public
you
hearing.
have a resolution?
I did prepare a resolution for the town hall project, because I thought that
Okay.
was,
Yeah, we need to do
Okay.
that tonight.
oh, you do want that?
Yep.
Yeah, because it has to be in by, what, the 18th?
Well, just make one copy.
That's all right.
Gretchen's gonna read it.
Oh, yeah.
So you can only apply for 100,000 for handicap projects, but I think we have a good chance, especially, you know, there is sometimes, it is valuable, you know, to invest in professionals in doing grants, though, too, I will say, just as a follow-up, because like Peter Karras, doing a professional cost estimate and a nice sketch can really help bring a grant to much more.
Actually, he was a great find.
He was wonderful. Thank you,
Yeah,
Darlene,
thank you.
for
Yeah, he was here
Figuring
when they
that
were
out.
unloading everything, making sure everything was, you
He's
know,
fabulous.
Doing a
handled
great job.
correctly. Yeah,
He's more than earned his fee, that's for
Yes.
sure.
Right.
yes.
Can we do this, do you want to do this resolution now? Are
We
done
have
with it?
to.
Yeah.
All right, resolution number,
68.
Project Amenia Town Hall Handicapped Accessibility Initiative, whereas the town of Amenia, New York is participating in the Dutchess County Community Development Consortium for fiscal year 2014, and whereas input from citizens and groups at town board meetings and during a public hearing on September 26, 2013 has been received and considered, whereas the Town Hall Handicap Accessibility Project is an important public project for the town of Amenia that is expected to help make the town hall more accessible as a community center. The application be prepared for the grant in the amount of $100,000 to the CDBG grant program. Now therefore be resolved that the Dutchess County Community Development Consortium fiscal year 2014 application of the town of Amenia, including the certifications included therein, is approved. Be it further resolved that the submission of said application to the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development be and hereby authorized. Motion made by, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Prody?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger? Yes. Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Supervisor Flood?
Yes.
Motion carries. Do you need an original for this?
Yes, and actually, now that you mention it, I'm also going to need the legal notice of the public hearing and the minutes of the meeting, of the public hearing meeting, to include with the application, which I'll prepare now and bring to you.
You have one copy, that's why I'm asking.
Oh, only one copy of the,
You only brought one of the
Maybe he
resolutions.
could go get a copy.
I can make a
maybe.
copy.
Or Mary could do that.
Yeah. Could you do that? Just, well, you know what, since they've already signed it, I'm just gonna have to certify that it's a true original copy, is what I'm gonna have to do. Okay. Because they've already signed it. Okay.
We already started.
That's all right.
Otherwise, it will be a copy.
All right, should I wait then to the end? Or- Okay.
All right,
Thanks.
committee reports?
I'll go with the CAC. Is it Ridgecrest Farms that the CAC took a look at their meeting last week? It was September 30th. I guess it was a couple of weeks ago. We looked over the maps and it was the feeling of the CAC that this Turtle Pond and the proposed continued excavation of that thermometer-shaped pit, it would be an improvement rather than a you know, Ian showed the chair, Dave Reagan, how he planned to make it more of a natural looking pond instead of a kind of a scarred, deep gouge in the landscape, and how he was going to modify some of the other land to be less mine-like. And so it was the feeling at the time that, yes, that would be an improvement rather than making it worse. And that if it was in fact in the soil mining district overlay, that we would be in favor of having him continue to do the excavating to make that a more attractive spot along South Amenia Road. So now I saw that there's some question as to whether or not the proposed mining area is in the soil mining overlay or not. Is there an active permit there, or has it been allowed to expire?
Well, what this is, there's an active permit allowing them to mine, I guess where they're currently mining. That's within the soil mining overlay district. And the boundary, the permitted boundary under the current permit is consistent with your soil mining overlay district boundaries. What they're proposing to do is increase that by about 3.5 acres, and that the area that they're looking to expand the mine onto is not in the soil mining overlay district. I spoke to the engineer, Roy Budnick, and he confirmed that today. Your soil mining overlay map is based on a map that he had prepared, and he said what he did is he used the area that was permitted under this DEC permit. What happened is DEC went to Ian and wanted him to come into compliance, because apparently what's happened is the area that's outside of the soil mining overlay has been mined since the mid-90s, I guess. And what they're looking to do, Northwest Farms, is to bring that area into compliance. And it's a modification of the current permit, or of the existing permit with DEC. So they're not getting a new permit, it's the old permit. But
it
they're
hasn't been
modifying
allowed
it.
to expire. It has not expired.
It has not expired.
Okay, so that's the
it's a current
difference between Kent
correct.
Hollow and this one.
So
Is he modifying the reclamation? Is that what
the
it?
current, mine land reclamation permit.
So what do we have to do to get this done?
Well, there's a public comment period, and the period for the town to comment expires on the 18th. And in addition to that, there's a public comment period, which when I spoke to the woman from DEC, that hadn't even begun to run. So that's also a 30-day period. The only thing you can do now is comment on the application that's before DEC. They've already issued a negative declaration on their environmental review. They haven't modified the permit. There's already a permit in place, and again, they're only looking to modify the existing permit. But you can comment on, the setback requirements, the dust control, hours of operation, and whether or not it's permitted in this area. That is a question. Arguably, it may, this additional 3.5 acres may be permissible as a pre-existing non-conforming soil mine. If they've been operating continuously on that area since before your soil mining overlay regulations went into effect, then that would be permissible use. But that's an issue that, you know, I think it's still a little bit of a question. I haven't seen any facts
Right.
proving that.
Right.
So what you could do is say that it's outside of the district. And then it would be up to Northwest Farms to show that they're a legal, pre-existing, non-conforming use.
Vicki, did CAC have a map that they were looking at? What were they looking at?
Yeah, we had maps.
they-
He had large topo maps, and he had his iPad, and he was showing us as well. But yeah, I think we know what we were supposed to be looking at.
Yeah, I have copies, because I emailed everyone copies of the DEC notice of completed application.
Right.
But the maps were too big to email.
Are those
So
maps you have there?
These are the maps. I only brought 2 copies.
I can make some copies for the board.
Okay.
You can look at 'em. I
I
can't make them right now. but
No.
I think it would be helpful, I haven't seen it, to
Right,
really
I agree.
make a, yeah.
Show
So I don't know if
field
you want to
Well,
look at them
yeah,
now.
you could show them now. Just let us come take a look, because it's pretty obvious what he's trying to do.
It is. The thing that's,
At the end of the day, it becomes a better project.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
It
better
cleans-
landscape.
It cleans up a mess that's there.
Right. There's a, gouge, and it's, it just doesn't look natural at all the way it is now.
so there's 2 maps. The reclamation map and then the mining operation map. So probably more helpful to see the mining operation first. It might be difficult for, there are 2 maps. So,
Where's the,
yeah, it's
the
a
water,
little bit easier to see on my copy because
color?
color.
Yes, color helps.
Pond just kind of looks like a big thermometer. If they want to make that more
So
of a...
this is the additional 3.5 that they're looking to expand. I believe that your soil mining overlay line is there. So this is that's all within the soil mining overlay. What they're looking to do is outside of it. I should say one of the things that I want to do, the other, the expansion of the pond, and then they're looking to, I guess, remine a portion that's already been reclaimed. That's within the soil mining overlay district, so that's not an issue.
So once this is mined, does it fill in with water? Will it be a pond?
It'll still be a pond.
It is a pond.
It'll be a more natural-looking pond.
I see.
And they will reclaim it. I mean, one of the
Well,
questions that came up is
They're
whether or not
required to, yeah.
reclamation wouldn't be possible without calling it mining. I mean, it's basically reshaping the land, and I was wondering if...
They're gonna push a lot of soil.
Yeah, but does a reclamation allow you to do that sort of thing?
Yeah. Sure.
So,
To do what?
in other words, why do they need a mining permit if really what they're doing is remodeling the, reshaping. I think this allows him to take some material out of there, although he said most of the material was out already, the mineable material. I mean, it seems like his fallback plan should be reclamation, and we tidy it up and make it attractive, but don't have a mining permit for land that isn't in our soil mining overlay. But that's just, a fallback, I would say. There must be a reason why he wants the mining permit, that there must be enough material in there.
DEC is apparently asking him to modify the permit that is already in existence. So again, it's not a new permit that they're looking for, they're just looking to modify the permit that allows them to mine on the property already.
So does this set a precedent by?
It doesn't have to go through the permitting process again.
I know, but the problem is if it's not in our soil mining overlay district, you say that we're gonna need to have some kind of an amendment or something or a grandfathering. They'll have to prove that they were mining it continuously since our laws were passed in 2007.
That's the question, is whether, I don't think there's any question that it's outside of the boundaries of the soil mining overlay district. The question is mining permissible there as a pre-existing non-conforming use? And to answer that question, I think you need more facts.
But we can respond and say factually, this is not in our overlay district.
Correct.
We can comment on any of these criteria that you specify: hours of operation, dust control, setback requirements. I mean,
which we've done with other mining reclamation permit applications with DEC.
Well, we have time to study the maps a little more closely, but our comments have to be in by the 18th.
By the 18th, as I said, if you got them in after that time, the DEC would still consider them, because there's a public comment period that's going to go beyond that.
Okay.
I can find out exactly how.
Do you want to do a site visit?
Yeah, I think that, if you can leave a map, I can make some copies.
Actually, I can, I can leave those.
The colored one is.
Why don't I leave the colored one with you, and I'll take back a copy, so that
I think that, and then I can make some copies.
Does everybody want to do a site visit?
Yeah.
When do you want, what? You want to do by the 18th?
Our comments have to be in by the 18th.
So we should do it Saturday morning? This Saturday morning?
it'd have to be a special meeting if we're all.
Right.
Can Mark come in on this? I know when this all came up.
He's not available on weekends.
Right. So can we,
I think we'd have to do it longer lead time, because it'd be a public meeting. We have to advertise.
what's today, Thursday?
Thursday night. Saturday's too soon. We have
Well,
to
some of
set-
us can go at different times.
Yeah, I think we have to go at different times.
Okay.
I have a
We did
funeral
that before.
Saturday
Right.
morning.
And it's 72 hours, not law anyway. You can have,
Correct.
You can make it.
You could send in notice tomorrow. and that
tomorrow
would be
morning, you're
Okay.
fine.
sufficient.
Well, Saturday morning's fine with me.
What time?
7 o'clock. Okay.
Okay?
7
Actually,
o'clock.
I could make that one.
You could?
Yes,
7 a.m. on the 12th
You okay with that?
at the mine, and we'll ask Ian to
Yeah.
give us
Sure.
a description of what he plans to do there.
Yeah.
I'll call
So you
Ian
want to make a
tomorrow morning.
special, a motion to have a special meeting Saturday? Is that what we're going to do, or just want to post it?
I'd get it done once and for all, personally, but, because it's on the 12th, the next week,
Right, I just want to do it this
It's
week and be
due.
done.
he has to have time to put it in.
All right,
I'll make a motion that we have a special meeting on Saturday, October 12th, at Ian Holback's Harlem Valley Materials on Kent Road. Meet at his office at 7 a.m.
I'll second that. Hopefully he will be there.
If not, we're in trouble.
and you'll post that tonight? Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Reamer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger? Councilwoman Doyle, and
Yes.
Supervisor Flood.
Yes. Okay. Any other committee reports? Town clerk's report?
This month in the town clerk's office, the local share that's been remitted to the town supervisor is in the amount of $343.51. And the non-local revenues were $97 payable to the New York State Ags and Market and Department of Health. Just a reminder to all of my hunters, shotgun season begins on November 16th. We're selling a lot of hunting licenses. This evening I turned over to the board for the requirement of the retirement system, the record of activity. I have the entire year, but I did January, February, March because you guys needed the first 3 months. And then I just have a question. I know we're not talking budget this evening, but I noticed in the 2014 proposed budget that there was no salary for the tax collector. I received a tax user group meeting from BAS, and I know that, so everyone's starting to get prepared for taxes, and I wasn't sure who was going to be doing that, if I should forward this information, or what the board's pleasure is, what was going on with that. So
Do we
we're
appoint the
gonna have
tax collector? The town board appoints the tax collector, or is that something that you delegate?
I had some conversations with some town clerks in the county. Some are the tax collectors, while others are elected. So I wasn't quite sure what the thought process was of this town board since they took the budget out. So I think we need to have that conversation.
It's a determination made by the town board.
The town board decides who the
Decides.
tax
Right, I
collector
think if the
is.
reorg was done, that the town
thought we
clerk
combined
is the tax collector.
I thought we
Right,
combined it.
that's
But
done.
I mean, I'm bringing it up to the attention
Yeah.
that
was done last
the
year.
pay salary was taken out. Well, I wasn't your town clerk last year, so I can only talk about what I'm seeing this year in this year's budget.
Well, we can't amend the budget at this point.
I'm talking about 2014.
No, for 2014.
Talking about
14.
the tentative.
There
You're
was-
recommending that we put back in a salary for the tax
I think we
collector.
need to have a conversation,
Okay.
and I'd like to open that.
Well, we're gonna have a budget meeting at some point here, not tonight, but we will have
Okay.
it.
I
Well,
mean,
we need to schedule one tonight.
Yeah, we will.
okay, I just wanted to bring it up to the table.
Right,
so
you have a
we-
tentative budget. It's not set in stone,
No, I know, I
Right.
just wanted to open that door so that way you guys can know,
which we have to cut more, by the way. So there are more cuts that have to be done. We don't meet the requirements.
I'm just thought I'd
Okay.
throw it out there
I'm
that
just,
way.
I'm throwing it out, I'm throwing that out there.
Because that's a position, so
Right.
you're gonna have to,
It's not a position.
it's a title, that there's a salary that's associated with that, and there's responsibilities go with that. So I wanted to bring it to the board's
No.
attention that I noticed in the
All right.
budget that's being presented, that there's no salary in there for that job.
All right.
That's all, that's just a
Let's not get
statement.
into it tonight.
No.
That's half the story. Okay, discussions?
We also, we received a letter from John Fenton
Yep.
regarding the Bill Henry unsafe building and illegal usage of structure and property. Dear Town Board members, on August 22nd, 2013, the board held a public hearing ordering Mr. Bill Henry to make the barn safe and secure by retaining the services of a licensed structural engineer to address the above concerns and provide the town building inspector with a plan to remedy the above referenced deficiencies. Mr. Henry neglected to comply with this order. Furthermore, Mr. Henry had until September 23rd, 2013 to have an engineer's report and building permit issued. They also have until October 22nd, 2013 to have all repairs corrected. Neither request has been addressed. Presently, I have witnessed people living and occupying the barn that I have posted as unsafe. I also witnessed people living in the 2 surrounding smaller barns on the parcel. The structural integrity on these structures is very questionable. I issued Mr. Henry 2 appearance tickets on October 7, 2013. One is for violating Section 63-9 of the Amenia Code, allowing people to occupy an unsafe structure. The other ticket is for violating Section 121-10 of the 10 zoning law, violating the allowable use section, present use is prohibited. I'm requesting that the town board give authorization of the demolition and removal of the first barn and allow my department to perform the same inspections on the 2 neighboring smaller barns.
What's the procedure with, I think it's lengthy procedures.
You followed it.
Right.
So we,
We're there, right?
yeah, you issued an order. John Fenton did perform the inspection with engineer for the town. He reported to the board. The board ordered that, you know, repairs be made to make the building safe, and gave Mr. Henry notice of that, along with notice of a public hearing, or I'm sorry, of a hearing, not a public hearing. You conducted the hearing, and under your town code, chapter 44, the next, the next step would be, if he does not comply with the order, you do have the authority to tear the building.
He has to comply with what, this letter now, or the previous one?
No, the order,
All
you
the
issued an
dates.
order and
Right.
sent the notice of order to Mr. Henry. And
Right,
it directed him to, what he had to do was, to have his own engineer present a plan for how he was going to,
that's it.
yeah, fix the deficiencies in the building. And he had, I believe it was 30 days to submit that plan. He didn't do it, so he's not in compliance with the order. The next step, if he's not in compliance with the order, the town board has the authority to order that the barn be demolished. So the only thing, you would have to do that at town expense. There's a provision that allows you to
Put it on the tax.
put it on this tax bill, but initially that would be a town expense.
And I think the part where it says allow my department to perform the same inspections on the 2 neighboring smaller barns, I think we should allow him to do that also.
Well, could we arrange to get an estimate, because this is gonna cost us some money, so.
Yeah.
He also has until the 22nd of October to do the.
Well, I saw that, he's already missed the deadline for submitting the plan. The 22nd of October was either
To have all repairs
Work,
corrected.
yeah.
He's nowhere near it.
Well, the repairs weren't that bad, right? It's not that stuff that has to be done.
I don't recall, it was in the
Yeah, the
report.
lolly columns and some beams,
Yeah.
and there's not a lot that had to be done.
The electrical had to be, you know, there's no sanitary, there's no water, there's.
Just getting an estimate is gonna take some time, so if he, you know, I think we should get an estimate for demolishing it.
Mhm.
We
Just
need 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna take some time, and hopefully he will
Get it together.
get an engineer's report or some remediation by the time we get an estimate.
And I think we should allow the building department to perform the same inspections on the 2 neighboring smaller barns.
He has that right to do it already.
He does,
Right.
and,
He should have done it already.
Okay. So we're going to get 3 bids. If that's what we're deciding to do for demolition.
if that's what you want.
Do we need a motion for that, or we just have him give bids?
Do we need to advertise for this sort of?
Yeah.
If it's gonna be over 5,000, you're
Which it
required
will be.
to do it by public bid. What you could do would be to get an estimate and see what the estimate is. If it's under 5,000, then you wouldn't need to advertise for bids.
All right, well, we can authorize John to get a bid, a quote, anyway, we'll figure out where we are, and then if we have to go to public, meeting, or, notice, then we'll have to do that in the next meeting, right?
At this point, you're not required to give any more notice. I guess you could, that it's gonna be demolished.
Well, we have to bid it, so that's what I mean, we have to.
Oh, I see
publicly
what you're
bid it.
saying.
Public notice for a bid.
Right, that's right.
Unless we have the highway department do it. But I don't even know, I don't know if that's something they wanna do anyway.
I think
Probably
we
not.
should
Yeah,
have it done
right.
professionally and have
Professionally,
it.
that way it was
If
done.
there are people living in there, I mean, is there
No,
any
there better
other
not be.
procedure we have to go through? No.
It's gonna be an issue.
Not under the town code, you don't. I mean, it probably
They are
would
inhabiting
make
it
sense that
illegally.
you want to give them, you certainly could give them another notice that the building's going to be demolished at this point.
On the date of,
Right. And in the meantime, John's letter said that he's prosecuting them for the zoning violation. So,
Have you had, not to change the subject, but the other one that we have on Powerhouse Road, have you ever received an agreement, the signed agreement with them? What's his name, the guy with the cars?
Dave Carter's?
oh, Connors,
no.
Dave
Have you ever
Connors?
received it? Could you talk to John about that and see where we
Sure.
are in the prosecutor? I know that he's putting up a new building to store some of these cars.
which, my understanding I think John said he had gotten a building permit for it. I don't know if he started the work.
He
yet or
started the
not.
work, but we have no agreement as to what he's gonna do, and I think that's part of the deal.
I'll check, there may be an agreement.
Yeah, there may be one. We have
Correct.
to, you
But
have to
would
have that,
be- Yeah,
Right. so that gets done.
I'll speak to Gail,
Gail.
Zelazny.
Okay.
And the other thing I have, we received a bill from Burlinghoff Contracting about installing new service and new lights at the tennis basketball courts in August of 2012 that they've been putting finance charges on.
We never received the bill. So I talked to Sherry about that, and there's a donation to that, to do that. So we just got the bill the other day.
They said they're donating the $900 difference, but we owe the $2,653.40.
There's another one, we'll take care of that. We just got the bill.
Okay, but this never went out to bid.
It was never bid.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was, there's people gonna donate to do it. We talked about that when we did the work.
That was for the Sundowner, was it not?
No, we did,
No?
they put new lights, remember they donated, Timmy
Yeah.
Burlinghoff donated the lights, and the other one, there's another company that's gonna pick up the cost of it. But we never got the bill. So, the bill's a year old, he just getting the bill now, which is his MO, but that's the way they work. Any other discussions? In your packets, there's a letter of, from Ian to Monty Robadero, is that his name? So I think we've answered his questions. So that went out October 10th, so.
No, I haven't sent that out.
Oh,
I
okay.
just sent it to the board to review. And,
I think it pretty much covers what we have to do, or what the issue is. So I think once it goes to him, that should be resolved, I would think. So that should be done. We have to do the standard workday. Do you have that packet? A resolution to, we had discussed this before. The standard workday for the employees for the retirement. So it's resolution number
69.
of 2013, resolution for the standard workday and reporting for the New York State and local employees retirement system at a meeting of the town board of the town of Amenia held at the Amenia Town Hall on the 10th day of October 2013 at 7 p.m. Town Supervisor William Flood called the meeting to order and made the motion, seconded by
I'll second it.
Vicki Doyle, introduced the following resolution to wit. Whereas it is required by the town, required by New York State Employees Retirement System that all active employees participating in the retirement system have a locally established standard workday for the purposes of reporting retirement credit And whereas the town of Amenia has active full-time and part-time employees who participate in the New York State Employees Retirement System, and now therefore be resolved that the town board hereby adopts the following as standard work days for elected and appointed officials, and will report the following days' work to be the New York State and local employees retirement system. Title, Secretary and Supervisor, 8 hours, Highway Laborers, Machine Equipment Operator, 8 hours, Highway Superintendent, 8 hours, Working Foreman, 8 hours, Deputy Town Clerk, 8 hours, Building Inspector, 6 hours, Town Clerk, 6 hours, Typist, 6 hours, Constables, 6 hours, Summer Camp Director, 6 hours, all other elected or appointed officials, 6 hours. The following resolution was voted upon with all councilmen voting as follows.
Supervisor Flood?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger? Yes. Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Crody?
Yes.
And Councilwoman Remer?
Yes.
Do you want to do the town board comments?
I have in my pile here the boiler cleaning estimate. I thought we authorized John to do that.
We did.
Why is it in our pile?
I don't know.
Oh, that may be during the other.
Oh, for the meeting I was, okay.
We
Thank you.
didn't authorize to do it. I thought we had to
Yes,
get
we
two.
did.
We had to get 2 more
Yeah.
bids.
That was for the cleaning, right?
Right.
At the last meeting.
Oh, okay.
So I hasn't been authorized.
Right.
And I'm getting 2 more bids. I have someone who will be coming next week to look at it.
Any other board comments?
I'd like to make sure we get some meetings going on the,
Budget, yeah,
Budget,
right,
yeah.
okay. Do you want to set some dates? Or a
Yes.
date?
I would. I could do it Monday. Oh, that's Columbus Day. I guess nobody wants to do it on Columbus Day.
Every
Oh,
day's
yeah.
the same.
It must.
The 15th, the evenings.
Are Mondays better for you?
Yeah, but it, you know, it's a holiday for everybody else. It's not for me.
It's not for me either. Except I'm
It's
home
not a
all day.
holiday. Well, it's not me either, but it's okay. I mean, if people are away, Columbus Day, that's fine. I could do Tuesday just as easily.
Tuesday's fine.
Wednesday, we have an enhancement meeting, but, you know, there's
I
a
can do
planning board
Tuesday.
meeting on the 17th, but I, you know,
What
the
time
15th or
Tuesday?
17th.
What time Tuesday?
Yeah, well, it needs to be after 7, is that right? 7:30
Okay.
on Tuesday, the 15th.
Doesn't have to be after 7, it could be 5 o'clock.
No, she needs to be
Oh,
here.
yeah. So Tuesday at 7:30,
Yep.
okay? You'll post that. Any other town board comments?
Should we set another one, or you think that's enough?
Well, let's see how we make out Tuesday.
Can I just request that we get total, is it possible to get subtotals, like the revenue is just, these are numbers, there's
Sure.
no, if we could just break it out, maybe it's not possible, but it seems to me the spreadsheet that we got was just very, very basic, and we didn't get,
Well, it's, okay.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the revenue was just a stream of revenue, no break, where expenditures and revenues start and stop, and a total of the revenues.
Our revenues are down.
And it would be great, but maybe it's not possible again to have another column that says
The
year-to-date.
year-to-date. Yeah.
Okay.
This
Yeah, that's there.
year-to-date to show, it's,
It's there.
it's there?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Every month it's done.
Yeah, I've got a
So,
spreadsheet, I can
you
put
have
in
that
my
on a
own
monthly,
numbers,
right.
but I didn't think it was actually on the same spreadsheet.
Whatever it's spent every month is, it's emailed to you.
You know, no, I know, but what I'd like to have is it right there, but if
It's
it's
there.
not possible, it's not possible.
It's done.
Okay.
Okay. New York State Star, Senior Citizen Star, seniors receiving enhanced star benefits are not affected by the new registration requirements. In order to continue to receive enhanced star, seniors must have continued to apply annually or participate in the income verification program. So make sure that you stop in to see Ron so that you can continue to get your star, your break on your taxes.
And do it online
What's that?
very easily.
And you can, what's that?
There's a deadline coming up.
Yeah, the deadline is,
December.
December 31st, 2013, so you have to get your stuff in.
They can do it online.
Yes, very easy to do it online.
And we have the New York State Sheep and Wool Festival, Rhinebeck,
Fairgrounds.
Fairgrounds at October 19th and 20th. The festival takes place at the New York Dutchess County Fairgrounds. The Dutchess County Sheep and Wool Growers New York State Sheep and Wool Festival is next weekend, the third full weekend in October. Please go and support our local farmers, which we have a lot from here, that go with their sheep. And there's a spinning, correct? They show you how to take the wool off. They clip them, and Dashing Star Farm is a local farm that's there, so that's done. We also have the Woods of Terror, a haunted hayride and walk, October 25th and 26th, 7:30 to 10. Parking at the Amenia Fire Company. Admission is $5 per person. Ticket proceeds are to benefit the Prospect Pig Club, which is a 4-H club that raises pigs, and they showed the pigs at the fair this year and did very, very well. Food and drinks are available, purchased by the Amenia, supplied by the Amenia Fire Company. Find more information and friend us on Facebook at Prospect Pig Club.
While we're talking about hay rides, it sounds like there's haunted Halloween hay rides at the mill in Wasaig on Saturday the 26th. There'll be a costume contest, cider, hot dogs, dancing at the Lantern Inn, and it is to benefit the Wasaig Fire Department. I don't know what charge, if any, there is for that, but contact the fire company or Wasaig Project, the Lantern Inn. We'll be putting something on in Wasaig.
The Wasaig Auxiliary Pancake Breakfast is this Sunday from 7:30 to 11. Please come out and support the Wasaig firemen and the auxiliary. I have a report from the Amenia Lions Club. They purchased holiday banners, which were discussed last year for Holiday of Lights, and they will be putting them out around Thanksgiving.
Oh, good.
Their 300 Club Dinner Dance, where the money goes back to the community, is on December 7th from 6:30 to 10:30. There will be $8,400 in total prizes from drawings that are held weekly starting in October right through the December 7th. So see any Amenia Lions Club member to get your ticket.
Are there still tickets?
Yes. As far as I know.
Yes.
I have something from Smithfield Church. We're holding our Great White Tent Sale, October 19th, Saturday, from 10 to 4 p.m., or yes, 10 to 4 p.m., but there's an early bird, 9 o'clock, if someone wants to come and view all the items ahead of time. $10 from, if you come in at 9 o'clock. And it's to benefit repairing all the columns for the front of our church. It's really in bad shape, and we're hoping to get them repaired. It's going to cost quite a lot. So if people can come and support it, we have a lot of items that will be tag sale, or full range of home goods to clothing to furniture, whatever.
Is the Kuhn Brothers, they're having an open house on Sunday?
Yes,
the farm?
On the 13th, yes. Kuhn Brothers, Cabot's Cheese, they're one of the people who supply milk to the Cabot family. And they have a huge open house on the 13th, on Sunday. And they had a big crowd last year, so.
That's all this Saturday?
Sunday.
Sunday?
Sunday is the Kuhn Brothers
Sunday is the Kuhn Brothers
tour,
Yeah.
but the white tent
sale.
is
Great
on
White
Saturday.
Tent Sale is the following Saturday,
following
not this
Saturday.
Saturday.
Okay.
Following Saturday, the 19th.
Okay. We're having a Holiday of Lights meeting on the 16th, Wednesday the 16th, here at Town Hall at 5:15. And it'll be, everybody who's been involved in Holiday of Lights should come and attend, so that we make sure that we have all of our bases covered and that we're organized and everybody knows what little job they have to get done. to have the Holiday of Lights be a success on December 14th. Saturday, December 14th is our Holiday of Lights, and we want to get that word out and get people working away at getting everything done by then.
The other thing I have is we're going to be offering defensive driving program again at the Amenia Town Hall. The town of Amenia will host a defensive driving point reduction class from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. on October 29th and October 30th at Town Hall. The class will be taught by Stephen Williams, certified by the Empire Safety Council. Upon completion of the class, students are eligible for an immediate 10% reduction in their collision and auto liability premium, which includes property damage, bodily injury, and personal injury protection. The discount will apply for 3 years. The class will also reduce up to 4 points on one's license if there have been violations during the past 18 months. The fee is $45. Early enrollment is $40. The course is open to all drivers, regardless of age or driving experience. For more information, call Stephen Williams, 518-203-1295, or email stephen@drivesmart.us to enroll. We also are advertising this on Channel 22 and on the network.
I'd like to say that our talent show is set for Sunday, November 10th at 2 p.m. here in the auditorium. We're very excited that we did get our opening act will be 2 boys who have a garage band, Lucian Rex Alexander Roy, 10 years old, and Miguel Domingo, 14. They're going to do two numbers with an electric guitar and drums. One will be an original rock alternative song, and one is a cover. The 2 boys have been performing for 5 years, 4 or 5 years. They've been working with the group at the Music Cellar under Oblong Books, so they've been taking music very, very seriously, even though they're very young. So that'll be our opening act. I'm hoping the cheerleaders, we can go and watch what they've been working on up till now, so we'll have a little preview of that, and then that'll give us a chance to move the band equipment off the stage and then go to other acts that range from a magic trick by a 10-year-old, 2 magic tricks, to singing and dancing, and we're hoping to get the dancers at Heather Holohan's School of Dance in Amenia, some of those people to come, and we're hoping that some town board members will build a pyramid. I mean, I know that we have talents that we just haven't yet, found. So I think we still have time. It's not until November 10th, but you do need to contact me or Margie O'Brien to get on the rosters, because we'll do our very best to give you a show that will be worth your $5 entrance fee. So we have Peter Cascone will be the announcer, and we have various people agreeing to collect tickets and do that. It's donation goes towards the restoration of Gridley Chapel's slate roof that goes back to 1875. We're a couple of thousand short for the repairs that we want to make in the spring, but we have raised about $10,000. We need about 12. The
12
roof
more?
ridge, no, 2,000 more. So come support your local talented residents from age, 10 to 100, who knows. Come on out and either be in it or help support those. I have some people who said, I don't have a talent, but I can make cookies. So they're bringing cookies as their talent. So we'll have those for sale as well. Please come and support it. My phone number, if you need to call to get on the schedule, is 845-489-7826.
What is the time again, Vicki?
It'll be at 2 o'clock on Sunday, November 10th. Make sure you get it on your calendar, because you won't want to miss it.
Don't forget the turkey supper at Smithfield Church. I've forgotten, it's early, sorry.
When is it?
November 2nd. 3 servings, and
Why don't you bring tickets with you when you announce this thing? 'Cause we never have enough, we never get the tickets.
We haven't started calling. I didn't get my call.
the list was just finished today, so
Okay.
yes, you'll be getting your calls.
I'm waiting for Shirley.
Yeah.
Okay. Supervisors, all set?
I'm
All
done.
set? Report. I was at the landfill a couple times in the past couple weeks. They're almost done. They're getting there. As you notice, they're starting to seed it. There was a question today. I met with Liz Rovers there today. We were there for an hour or so. What they're concerned about is the back part of it has been seeded in a different seed than what will grow now. So what they're going to do, I guess, at the end of the day today, what I got an email from her that they're going to mix the seed and seed it. The front part. They're concerned about the visual aspect of seeing a strip of seed of different color around the catch basins, or the whole thing has a stone drainage all the way around it. So that's the final part that they're finishing now. Some trees will be planted, and you can see as the path is being added, so you can get back to the pond. That's being done now. So it's beautiful.
Should be coming along.
I walked it the other day. It's beautiful once you get back in there. What a difference.
Great. When will we?
They're saying sometime
See it.
mid-November. They're done. The final hazardous waste was removed today. I signed the bill of lading to remove that stuff, and that was taken out today. So the rain is giving them the issues. It keeps washing out, and they have to go back and fix it. But I think they got most of it stabilized now. They were really working there today to get it done.
Looks great from Delaware
Oh,
Hill.
it's beautiful.
It does. It's starting to look good.
Yeah. If you notice that Silo Ridge has started the golf course, you'll know that there's machines working in the back there, so that project is moving forward. Also, we have the New York State auditors are here today. They'll be here from approximately 4 to 6 weeks, doing our audit, which we sort of knew was coming. So Mary scanned and emailed to you the name of the auditors that are here. If you'd like to meet with them, you can email them or give them a call, and they will schedule you in you can sit down and meet with them. They have a list of stuff that they were doing. They'll be going to each department. That'll be done. It's a normal audit thing, so they do what they do. The only other thing I have is it's come to my attention that someone has stolen or there's misplaced some stuff at the ball fields. There's a pitching machine, a box of machine balls, a bucket league baseballs, and a basketball glove. That was some local people had let them use it, and it's disappeared. They would like it back. I know they've made some phone calls, so at this point, no one's returned their calls. So I guess you're the liaison and the rec committee. They called, and no one has returned their calls.
Who is they?
The Baileys. Sam and Aaron Bailey have let the town use their stuff. So it's disappeared. Maybe someone has it somewhere, but no one's made a call.
It's a quite expensive
Right.
pitching machine, by the way. Everything was left in the baseball closet.
And when did they disappear, these items?
A couple weeks ago,
At
right?
the end of the season, because we called all the employees, all the volunteers, we called the coaches, we called everyone, and we've been following up, and we're asking everyone. At this point, we just want it back, because it was really expensive. It was purchased when we weren't able to purchase ours right away. It was purchased by them, so we were able to have one for the season, and no one will return it.
That's all I have, and I need a motion now to go into, I'll make a motion to go into executive session to discuss some personnel matters.
Second.
And I think we should invite Mary.
Right, and we've asked Mary Millette to sit in on this discussion. Mary does work with the personnel